let's start with Maria. Come on up. So this is one of my favorite things, and why I love JOICO and the JOICOLOR system so much is we've just seen gorgeous blondes and beautiful natural commercial hair color from Lumishine, and now we have color intensity. So I love the idea that everybody in this room, we have something to offer you, just like we have something to offer you to share with your clients within our color range. So this was done with our color intensity as well as our chrome. So the technique that was done is we started with lightening to balance. You see how dark it was at the base and how light it was through the ends. So the idea was we wanted to lighten up some of this area here to blend it in through here, but obviously her ends were quite compromised. They didn't need more lightening or more lifting, correct? Right? So by going back into the base with the V4, we have that nice direct pigment from the demi color that actually started to build some filler within that porous blonde hair. So when we go back in then to put the overlay of the intensity on top of that, using the light purple and the lilac, we've already built some of the pigment in just from rinsing this through. Now we've put another overlay of the intensity over it, and there we have some color building. So this violet, beautiful color here will have a lot more longevity. Do you like the idea of that? So it's working smarter, not harder, kind of getting two things done at once. So we actually filled the hair with violet, went back in with these beautiful tones of violet, and we'll have longevity for this color. We just did a marbling technique that we mixed it up and just very eclectically placed it through the hair. So it's something that was done freehand, very artistic. Next time she comes in, we can repeat the formula, the same formulas, and really create, again, the same kind of work of art that's very eclectic and artistic. It suits her personality, and I think it looks gorgeous. What do you guys think? Yeah. And what great. A makeover. And again, you know, the products speak to the healthy hair that our company is all about. You saw her before picture. So while this process was going on and the completion of the process, we really didn't have to take that much of her hair off. And if you look at her before picture and you look at her after, it's the same head of hair. It actually looks much healthier, much thicker, much more vibrant, bouncy, and alive than it did before we ever started the color process. And I think that speaks volumes for our technology within the JOICOLOR system. So yeah, she looks amazing.
All right, Monica, come on up. So actually, I want to piggyback right off of what Sherry just said, because it is a great point to talk about the integrity of the hair and how well our products can keep it. Monica was fully willing to let me do a pixie on her, and everything in me said yes, right? Like I wanted to do it so bad. But we already had one, right? And I got to play and do some barbering with most of the girls, actually. I got to do some undercuts and stuff like that. So after we pre-lighten, I said, let's lighten her hair. Let's see what she lifts to. And then once we see what she lifts to, then we'll decide if I need to do any cutting or have some fun with it. Her hair was in such great condition after processing it twice, right? Because once we lifted it, we found out she had a nice little shadow root that she didn't realize was a shadow root right in through here that left us a nice band. Okay, the lightener told us the truth because she didn't know the truth. So now we know that we can't go on and do the colors that we wanted to initially. So what we ended up doing was, this is my infinity melt. And what I do for this technique is I actually start with a lighter color at the base. And really what you're doing is you're using the color wheel. And I use one half of the color wheel and transition all the way around. So I started with halfway at the color wheel, right, for the root, because I always take the darker side for the base, and then the lighter ones through the mids and ends. So I started with a yellow, transitioning towards a red, and then the red goes into a pink that then transitions into a deep purple in the back. So her root's melting as well as the mids to ends, and they're all kind of melting into each other, which is why I call it an infinity melt, because the color is just like a never-ending melting mess of color. And then underneath, what I like to do is, whether it's an undercut like this or not, I usually like to match the underneath as the same kind of color melt that I do around the perimeter of the face. Because this was an undercut, I just matched her base formula that we did for the front. So for her formulas, I think we had them up, but yeah, this is all of our lightening process. But for her formulas themselves, it was actually using pink and clear with melting into yellow, and then we have a combination of our amethyst and our indigo mixed with clear, And that's this transition purple in between. And then our deeper purple is the same formula, amethyst and indigo, but with less clear. So the reason that I like to use the amethyst and the indigo together is because it gives me that perfect balanced purple. If you use amethyst and clear it out, it comes out a little bit more pink. If you use indigo and clear it out, it's a little bit more on that cooler side, so it comes out more lavender. So combining them together, it's like the perfect purple, and I like to use that for that. And then mids and ends formula here is yellow mixed with peach with a little bit of red, and then the back formula is just red with clear. So that's what we did, and that's how we melted it all together and had a little bit of fun with it. Right, Monica?
Yes, we love it. All right, come on up here, Miss Sassy. Especially now that she has this hair color and this amazing haircut, her whole personality has changed, right? That's what usually happens. How's that for a makeover? Let's hear it. Okay, so starting at the base, we used permanent color from the Vero Color collection, and we used 7RC, INRR, and 7XR. So the 7XR has direct dyes in it, so it's that really punch of direct red, right? Again, came into the filling. So where these ends were light, I went through with bleach. As this was lightening, we went through with Blonde Life in 10, and that was combed through, so it feathered into that base color, coming down to lighten that band between the dark and where it was already blonde on the ends. Again, when this was rinsed, because of the direct dyes that are in the XR, as well as the bright copper in the 7RC and the INRR, it filled the lightener where the lightener had lightened the hair. We already had a filler, and then we went back over it with the peach intensities and the mauve intensities. So that's the great result that we ended up getting. Her hair looks so healthy, so shiny. There's beautiful dimension. And to me, you know, I loved that redhead that Sherry brought out. I am a fan of copper. But to me, this is like this fun, trendy, youthful way to also show coppers or reds or those gingery tones, right? And because she's super sassy, it all suits her very well. And the haircut, again, we didn't have to compromise her hair, that we had to shave it off or do a pixie. We were able to keep the length that she had, and that also speaks volumes for the products. I know we're giving you guys a lot of information too, so if you go to the JOICO app, download the JOICO app, all of these formulas that we're talking about are going to be downloaded and put onto the app. So you'll all be able to go back. It's a lot to write down and a lot to remember. So that'll make it quick and easy for you guys. Just download that app. All of the formulas will be there for you after the show.
And the Instagram stories too.
Oh, I don't know why I'm coming back. I have another model to talk about.
Sherry.
See, I'm really a girl of very few words. I don't usually have a lot to say. I'm usually quite quiet and shy. So this is different for me to have to talk about so many models. Yeah. So what we did here with Julia, you can see her hair was quite short when we started, right? Ricardo went in and did a couple of his little barbering tricks and techniques back here and did a beautiful fade for her. We kept the global formula at the base, pewter, and then through parts of the base here, we also did a little bit of like a holographic sort of technique. So when the hair is combed down, I lift it up. You see those hints and those whispers that come through? Light blue, a little bit of violet, a little bit of rose, just enough to give that dimension and movement and not really seeing where the color stops and starts. So as this color wears and the color begins to fade, she'll be left with this beautiful platinum blonde again. The beauty of using tones like this on our really light platinums, our icy platinums, is that as they do fade and as the color wears, they'll go right back to that beautiful platinum because it's complementary to what we've toned all of the warmth out with. So she'll be left with this beautiful platinum underneath. Do you guys love this? Yeah, I think these really soft, whispery kind of overlays are really the new trendy modern platinums. The blushes, the really soft blush colors with the peaches or the roses are a beautiful way that you can take your platinum blondes to this really cool, fun, new overlay, and it's temporary. These shades have been broken down with clear so much that as they rinse from the hair quite quickly, they're right back to their platinum in no time. I find it's really fun for a lot of my clients, especially if they're getting their retouch around a special occasion. Maybe they're going on a girls' trip and they want to look a little more funky, right, for the girls' trip. They always want to do something a little more edgy, but they always want to go back to those power platinums that they start with. So this is a great way to give them that beautiful overlay and let it gradually rinse and fade from the hair.